Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the time of the day is where you're watching in from. I'm Kerry Burr, the Human GPS, and you are tuned into Warrior TV, the voice of the mental health warriors. I'm going to be joined today by a lovely man, and we'll be back right after this. Good afternoon and welcome, Byron.
Hey, Kerry.
How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. And yourself?
Excellent. Yes, very good, thank you. Very good. Looking forward to our chat today. So, Byron, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Byron, and I co-founded an organisation called Udav, UDAV, and it's to help people with long-term medical health conditions, and particularly those with neurological conditions, and particularly those who are in the creative arts industries. So, yeah.
That sounds absolutely awesome. Yeah, I did have a little look at the website this morning, and I'm very, very impressed with what I see on there. I didn't realise anything like this existed. So what actually prompted you to create this?
Originally, I'd sustained three I underwent 3 neurological surgeries, and then been quite poorly throughout my life since pretty much 7-8 years of age. And then I had my last surgery about 6-7 years ago. But along the journey, I also lost a number of friends, as you do when you're kind of involved in circles to do with people with long-term health conditions. And I just kind of really wanted to do something like this because, yeah, it just felt like the right thing to do with my life. And kind of, your life leads to you to certain things to give you worth and value and all that kind of stuff. And I had the right people around me, so everything we're doing is kind of a group effort, so it just all comes together quite naturally.
Awesome. Yeah, it does help when you've got the right people around you, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Yes. It's because it seems like it's quite a huge project, to be perfectly honest, looking at it. So I imagine it's you need those people around you to help with it.
It is. We've been really lucky. So there's a chap called Basrawy, and he is developing in Hackney, and he really is the reason it's been able to exist, because he's completely kind of funded the whole thing, self-funded it, sponsored it and whatnot. So he's been like the driving force behind it. But then following his support, I straight away got on to a long-term friend of mine, a doctor. He's a quite prestigious clinical psychologist, and I just asked him if he could support what we're doing as well, and he was really keen to support me in sort of carving something out. But it actually came out of an APPG meeting in Parliament on brain injury, and sort of trying to address all the factors, all the problems with brain injury within society. And I just widened it out to all kind of neurological conditions, because I've got know a lot of people that are sort of autistic or have other sort of related health conditions. So that's how it all came together.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Byron, are you happy to talk a little bit about your own personal experiences?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. So you said that you've had sort of relatively poor health since around the age of 7, 8 years old. Take us through.
So originally I fell off my bike when I was about 6 or something like that, going on 7. And then I was experiencing quite heavy headaches and whatnot about a year later. And then finally I was just overwhelmed by the pain and the sort of passing out of the headaches. And when they scanned me, they had to do emergency brain surgery because there was just a build-up of sort of pressure within my head of fluid and blood and whatnot. So they done the surgery, and sorry about that. And then basically following that, let me just turn this off once again. Sorry.
That's all right. Somebody obviously wants to speak with you.
Yeah. Following that surgery, what was I going to say? Yeah, I was quite poorly anyway, but it took me a little bit of time to recover. But the surgery wasn't really successful. So about a year later, I ended up having to have a repeat of the surgery. And at this point, age 9 going on 10, my brain just couldn't take any more of the stress. So I went into a coma. And then when I came out of the surgery and the coma and whatnot, I was left with epilepsy. And then I just spent the rest of my sort of childhood trying to recover from that. But it's incredible the amount of conditions that you end up having after you have brain injury, because the part of my brain that was affected, it controls every part of the body. So it was just nonstop. And then 6-7 years ago, I got hit on the back of the head again. So I'm really sorry about this. Sorry. So when I had that hit on the back of the head, I had to have all the surgery again, and this time I actually lost my sight as a result, and it came back, but it was to do with the brain damage. But there's just been so many different things that have been affected. Everything from just walking, talking, sleep, appetite, everything. So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I should say, yeah. So how does that impact on your life? If that's not a daft question.
No, it's fine. It impacts every day. So it kind of feels like there's always something to kind of address. A lot of the time it fluctuates. I'm left with sort of the reconstruction surgery that they did. Kind of means that at the moment I've been seeing the neurosurgeon the last few weeks. I've been in A&E a couple of times over the last couple of months because even just the position, if I lie in the wrong position, then things can go wrong. For example, I can just sort of whereas most people will fall asleep, that's fine. I kind of can fall asleep, but then sometimes I've had it where I don't wake up, and that's quite dangerous. So that's been going on, and then headaches, like really bad headaches, and shaking or just loss of strength or things like that. It can really vary on a day-to-day basis, and then some days you'll be absolutely fine. So I think it just depends on a lot of different factors, but it's a bit of a roller coaster of seeing what's going to happen the next day, sort of thing.
Yeah, I should say. I mean, for anybody, life is full of uncertainty anyway, isn't it? But I imagine for somebody like yourself, with these added challenges, because essentially that's what they are, aren't they? They're obviously very challenging for you. So how do you personally cope with all of this? How has it affected your mental wealth rather than health wealth? I think is a bit of a a nicer expression.
Yeah, so mental health, I think for me, that's why we did this whole Udav thing, partly because it can be a bit overwhelming with negativity sometimes. So there's too much going wrong, and to stay on top of everything and keep going, soldiering on can be quite difficult at times. So when you do something, I think it's sometimes good to do something that you trying to help others that maybe are also struggling, because it gives you more purpose. Sometimes when you're trying to fight a long-term health condition, it can be a bit of a losing battle. Like my condition's probably not going to get too much better. It might even get worse. Hopefully not. But so that can all be a bit depressing. So when you're doing something that maybe looks outwards a little bit, that can be quite refreshing, and that's good to keep people going, keep people having purpose in life. And for me, that's what my life's about. It's kind of like, lemons into lemonade and all that. So just turning everything that's gone bad into something good. So I've been advising in government for people with these kinds of conditions. I've been sort of involved with films and productions that address these topics. Just lots of different things where it's relevant to my experiences.
Oh, that's really awesome. But I get that. I get that having something to focus on, something positive to focus on, it is a huge help, isn't it? Whether you've actually experienced any kind of poor health issues, be they neurological or otherwise, just I think in general, it helps everybody to have that something positive to focus on, and something that will keep them occupied. Because it is very easy, isn't it, to just sit there and think about all the things that aren't going quite right at the moment, or that haven't been going particularly well over a period of time, and allow ourselves to really kind of fall and slump into that negative state. It's very easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be a bit of a black hole, because it. I think when you have, maybe for people that are just experiencing a health condition for the first time, or it's all pretty new, it can basically the nostalgia can wear off quite quickly, and it can get very tiresome after a few years. And when you've had it for long periods of time, it just all becomes very, very much a long slog up a big hill, and you don't really want to wallow in it, and you kind of need a bit of a escape from that, because it's a big weight, it's a big burden to have on your back. I mean, life's hard enough for everyone anyway, but when you've got this extra added weight, so I think it's really good to give people the opportunity to have a break from it, somewhere and that's what we've tried to create, which is somewhere where people can have a bit of escape from all the negativity.
No, that's really awesome, absolutely awesome. So while we're on the topic of Udav, I know you mentioned a few minutes ago about it being there specifically for people that have experienced poor health issues, in particular neurological health issues, but also particularly providing a creative area. So tell us more about that. What sort of prompted you with that? Was it just finding that there were a lot of people that are kind of have really creative skills and talents that they want to sort of investigate further, or is it more to do with the fact that being creative can also help with our mental wealth, our mental well-being?
I found that, for me, during all my episodes of like ill health, my with brain injury, it's kind of like your cognitive functioning is quite drastically affected as well. So in times of ill health, you perhaps won't be able to function cognitively. So therefore, it closes a lot of doors and options. And one of the things that continued to be okay with me was my creativity. So I was maybe a bit selfish, but I have a lot of personal experience within the creative arts and throughout my life. And for me, it's one of the subjects that I know quite a lot about. So I thought, you know, stick to what you know and expand it, you know, when the right people come around later. And so all the people that I was working with, they were just really supportive, and they just sort of said, you know, why don't we just focus on that for now? And then it was just like, it was quite easy to sort of, and it happened quite naturally because it was just like it was, yeah, I knew what to do anyway. But then with the other creative people involved, they basically done all the art exhibitions and music things and all that kind of stuff themselves. So I was almost like a spectator in a way, but I could follow what was happening, and yeah, it just all happened quite naturally. As I said, I would like to branch out into I would like what we're doing to sort of work with people with within, I don't know, other kind of industries, but I'd need for like the rest of the team to sort of initiate that because it's not something I know about. But yeah.
Yeah, fabulous. So you being a creative person, what area of creativity do you specialize in? What's your thing?
I really like performance because it's quite safe in terms of you can express yourself in a way that, you know, if somebody knows you're performing, they can't they can't really have a go at you. For example, you can let rip, and you know, if it's either scripted or, I'm not very good with scripts, to be honest with you, so I prefer improvise sort of stuff. But you know, it's quite a safe space to just unleash lots of creativity. Whereas in everyday life, you know, you have to sort of be careful what you say, think about the appropriateness of where you are and what you say and do and who to and all the rest of it. So there's that. But then the creative arts as well, the visual arts, painting, drawing, sculpture, all that kind of stuff. I've spent a lot of my life kind of focusing on those things as well. And then also just improvised music, just performance again, just kind of, I lost the ability to sight read with my head injury. But I found there's quite a lot of circles. There's some really great charitable organizations out there, charities out there that work with musicians, and just it's all very sort of improvised. There's drum circles and jamming groups and even jazz groups and whatnot, and you just sort of make it up as you go. So it's really great because there's no barriers. So whatever you're going through, it's like music is a language that everybody can join in. There's no reason for anyone to be excluded.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree. You know, it's music has been a huge part of my life as well. You know, right from as far back as I can remember. I think, you know, I've always loved music and always wanted to learn to play various instruments. And whilst I can, I wouldn't say I'm brilliant at any particular one, but yeah, I get that. I totally get that. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Adam's asking a couple of questions here in the comments. He probably can't see them. He's saying, during your recovery, did you have support around you? And if you did, then how have you coped from then and how have you coped during the last 18 months where we've had all these restrictions?
During my recovery, having support around you is absolutely vital. you will experience, after neurosurgery, you'll experience everything, every type of problem you can imagine at some stage. So, you know, it can be things from just having complete memory loss and crashes in memory, and it can be quite scary. I mean, last time I had it, I mean, I was experiencing sight loss, you know, sight, and then also there's physical recovery. So your coordination can be all messed up. And at the moment, I'm kind of going through quite bad headaches. And then, like the thing I said about not waking up, that can be quite a problem. So having somebody just to check in and see you've not passed out again. A friend of mine actually saved my life last time when I just went unconscious, and she found me, and luckily. So yeah, always everything you do, having that's kind of what my life's been about, is pulling people together and sort of seeing how they all help each other and whatnot. The last 18 months, it's been a bit of a weird one, because for me it's been not terribly bad, because it kind of it's slowed the world down, and that's actually, if anything, worked in my favor, because everybody's a bit more you know, doing everything from home and taking a bit more care and all that kind of stuff. So for me, the last 18 months has been just not too bad, actually. It's now going back to how it used to be, where it all speeds up, everybody's running around, and maybe a little bit less, kind of a bit more carefree. That's actually proving to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think with everywhere opening up more now, now the restrictions have certainly been eased on most things. I mean, I've noticed, I think we've all noticed the difference. There's more and more people out and about, whereas compared to the very first lockdown, certainly for the first few weeks, there was, for example, hardly any vehicles on the road. And it was lovely.
Yeah, in a way it was, wasn't it? All the animals came back from like nature and all that. So yeah, I think we're lucky to have lived through those times in a way, because we've seen and experienced something that people wouldn't have to. There's also a lot of reflection time, and that's not been easy on a lot of people. Some people have just not coped with that well, and I totally get that. It's a kind of a point at which life stood still, and there was a time where everybody was forced to kind of look in the mirror and have a look at their life, which can be quite difficult.
Yes, I agree that it certainly can be, particularly if you're not in a great place yourself anyway. I'm just very grateful that for me it was an amazing thing. And not that I would wish lockdown on anybody at all. I didn't enjoy it from the perspective that, you know, we couldn't really go anywhere or see anybody. However, having that time to just be and breathe, and as you say, you know, sort of reflect on a lot of things and kind of work out exactly where you want to go, and realizing that now I've got the time to work on that and you know, actually do something about it. But on the other side of the scale, on the other side of the coin, as you say, there have been, unfortunately, people where that's been a very, very difficult thing for them to do, to actually look in the mirror and say, okay, where am I? What am I doing? Where am I going? You know, what can I do? What do I want to do? How is this working for me? Or all and any of those questions, or any and all of those questions.
I think it's the fact that it was forced upon us, because if it hadn't been forced upon us, you simply wouldn't do. Like I just don't have any time in the day to ever just stop. I'm always battling with something, even if it's like all day. Last 2 days is battling to sort out my medication, and so that's just eating away at all your time. So like a lot of people just don't have the time to stop, and it was really forced upon everybody and unexpectedly as well. So it was like, everything froze. Everybody had to have a good hard look in the mirror, and that kind of is good, but also it went on for quite a long time, longer than expected. So then it was had a lot of negative effects as well, people overthinking. And I think that the sort of ripple effect of all of that will be going on for the next couple of years. A lot of people changing their lives as a response,
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you there. It has had a huge impact on all of us, I believe, and as we've already said, some of us, it's been, for some of us, it's been a good thing. It's been a positive thing. We've used that time to our benefit. But for others, it's been really, really hard. And it really has had quite a negative impact, and a really hard impact on a lot of people, particularly with their own mental health, their own health issues in general.
That's actually, we created a thing called Mood Memos, and it was as a result of this period and all of that, because I really felt that the arts had never been so important. Everybody was stuck at home, and you put on a film or a piece of music and it can just take you away to another place. And there was a lot of people battling with things like depression or anxiety, or maybe just a really bad social situation that they were stuck in, and by using the arts to take you out of that, just even for half an hour, 5 minutes even, it can just give you that release needed to maybe prevent some tragedy happening. I mean, there was a few people that are no longer with us anymore as a result of what they were going through, and so it could just be the thing that tips the balance, just to keep somebody fighting, holding on for the change to happen following lockdown. So I really felt that the mood memo thing that we done was a good thing that came out of it, and that we'll be focusing a lot more on that, about using the arts to help people, because I think they're underestimated how powerful they really are.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I really couldn't. I mean, even Dorota's just put a comment up. The pandemic made people appreciate different forms of art a lot more, and I do believe that to be true. It's
we never relied on them so heavily.
Well, exactly.
I mean, Netflix went through the roof, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, and all these loads more people have turned to things like meditation, and actually being able to sit down and create music, to do their paintings, their sculpting, their whatever, they go out and do their photography, anything like that. And it's been absolutely amazing in that respect. I was going to say something there. Yes, about Udav and with the creative side. So how do you see this? How do you see Udav actually moving forward? What's your ultimate goal for that organisation?
We're trying lots of different things, as mainly because I'm battling with my own personal situation. So the way I kind of see things going are depending on who we work with and who steps forward, who steps up. We can just go in all a series of different directions. We're exploring different. At the moment, we're looking to work with major solicitors who are supporting us. We also have a number of MPs that are supporting us, and then there's Jack Basrawy, and depending on what direction these kind of individuals kind of want to take it in, we can sort of adapt it, but it'll always have the same underlying sort of principles about helping people who are battling with long-term health conditions in some way, and leaving that kind of that door open to what direction we go in has really benefited us. The team created a TV show over lockdown. That was the Udav Show that was shown on Sky Channel, and that was completely unexpected, and it was just sort of last minute thing, and everybody just pulled together, and it was really incredible just to watch that happening. But that was completely unpredictable and unexpected. So in short answer, I've got no idea what direction we'll end up going in, but we want to continue to create all stuff to do with creative arts and whatnot. But let's see.
Definitely. That's amazing. That's just amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And just one last thing before we go then, Byron. What would you say to anybody, and I mean absolutely anybody, that's experiencing some kind of adverse health condition right at the moment and perhaps are not feeling particularly on top of the world about things? What would you say to that person or those people?
I'd kind of remind them that, we're not, like, no person is an island, and just to, whilst they might want to be alone, don't cut themselves off, because we all have times where we're unwell, and the people around you will, filter your circle out of people that aren't very helpful or caring, but the ones that are sort of their friends and family, definitely just keep them around you, and don't shut yourself off too much, and just pace yourself. I mean, life's full of ill health for everybody at some point anyway, so we'll kind of go for it, some more than others, but yeah, keep the people that care about you around you.
Awesome. Some solid advice there. Thank you for that. Thank you, Byron.
No
It's
worries.
been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today.
Likewise.
And I hope that we get the opportunity to chat a bit more sometime soon.
Too.
I hope. Right. I'm going to send you back to the green room whilst I say good cheerio to everybody, and I'll see you in a moment.
Thank you, Kerry. See you.
There we go. The lovely Byron, and what an amazing story. What an amazing human being. www.udav.world. Sorry, world. Let's pronounce the words properly. Go and have a look if you haven't already. It's absolutely amazing. So much wonderful stuff to read about and find out about there. And of course, it's a great place to point anybody that you know who is experiencing ill health issues at the moment, in particular neurological health issues. So that's all from us for today. Warrior TV, probably in a moment when I get there, signing out.